PS Waterways and Environment, Mr. Joshua Wycliffe, the resident representative of JICA, Ms. Rina Kurumi Sawa, Dr. Isoa Korovulavula, the Director of Institute of Applied Science at USP, Mr. Hoshneva Trombaiwala, the General Manager, Carpenter Shipping, Dr. David Rohindra from School of Biological and Chemical Sciences at USP, Mr. Paula Katireva, Head of Climate Change Program, IUCN, Mr. Naresh Narayan, Director Health, Suva City Council, Mr. Sanjeev Chand, Manager Waste Clear, Mr. Luke Vonutambua, Divisional Health Inspector, Central Eastern Division, our own staff, Rahul Dutt, Senior Mental Officer, Waste and Pollution Control Unit, our directors, Director Environment, of course I missed you, ladies and gentlemen, Bulavinaka to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me thank PS Wycliffe for including this such an important topic in the agenda for this week's environment discourse leading up to the International Environment Day on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, there's not a single person in this country who is not concerned about littering. But unfortunately, there's a large proportion of households who think that littering doesn't bother them or their community as long as it is not in their area, in their compound or in their locality. It's a false belief, because littering will affect the entire country. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we were at Vorovoro Island off Lambasa, and when we were talking to this community, they were telling us how waste from Lambasa, Gawa River, Lambasa River is ending up on the island. So ladies and gentlemen, littering is a concern for every member of the community, whether the litter is thrown in that particular area or is thrown in some other area. Any litter which is thrown in any other space without consent is basically a threat to the environment, to the health, and to the growth and development of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as Minister for Waterways, this is my daily concern, given the volume of litter that we find it's in our waterways. And we often highlight this challenge that we are facing in the Ministry of Waterways in terms of clearing our waterways so that we can protect our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, this issue of littering in the waterways did not exist some 30 to 40 years ago for several reasons. One is that waste production was at a minimal some 30 to 40 years ago. So when waste production is minimal, then of course the issue of where to discharge and discharging and the volume of discharge is not an issue. So if that is the case, then we need to go back to the drawing board and say, how do we reduce waste? First and foremost is in the entire, when the think tank will discuss this, I think the basic solution of littering should go back to the base of the supply side. Often we spend a lot of time talking about the demand side solutions. We need to go back and look at from the supply side perspective. If there's no supply, then there won't be any issue at all. So, as I said, from some 3 to 4 decades ago, littering was not really an issue because generation of waste was very minimal. Production systems were quite litter friendly, and people were also at that particular point in time culturally quite conscious about how litter will affect the daily lives of those people, those households, of community. Secondly, my anecdotal archival research also demonstrates that in those days, waste recycling was happening, even though, scientifically, people were not, probably was not that conscious about it. But in those days, recycling of material subconsciously was happening, subconsciously. But over time, this notion of recycling and reducing waste has subsided amongst our community. All sectors, the household sector, the business sector, the industrial, commercial, service sectors. What may be the reason? What may be the reason why people have reduced recycling or reusing of leftover materials? It is something that the think tank should go and look or study and think about it, because doing so will get you to the bottom and crux of the issue of littering. If there's no litter, if there's no waste, if there's no leftover material, then there'll be no litter. Simple. So I think that in a longer term, the sustainable solution to littering is basically how do we reduce or minimize what is left over. Ladies and gentlemen, this issue, while we create the awareness and education to people about how it affects them through clogging up of our waterways. When our waterways gets clogged up, how people in the downstream are affected. How people are affected in terms of not having quality clean water for their daily course. Communities in small developing countries are still utilizing water from waterways for their daily course. Households in rural and maritime area are utilizing the surface water from our waterways for their daily course. And now we can also see that they are increasing, in small numbers, cases of waterborne diseases spread through water, such as leptospirosis. We even have cases where people have died due to leptospirosis. Even recently, there are people who were, found to have, infected with leptospirosis. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we need to basically, while we are creating awareness in terms of how someone's behavior is creating a negative externality and thus affecting the quality of life of people, we should also go back to the fundamentals of reducing, the generation of material that is not utilized. We also should, look at the impact of clogged waterways on other sectors apart from the household sector, the agriculture sector, the service sector. How clogged waterways threatens our infrastructure, how clogged waterways threatens communities, those living along the waterways. So it is not that people are not aware of it, but people are not seriously taking the impact of littering on distant communities, because they are not able to see it visibly and feel it themselves, the impact of this, of the negative externality. So the question is, how for the think tank, how can they make this link between the pain and suffering and loss of the distant community on those who are littering? How can the second agenda would be, how can you link it up that communities of people who are engaged in littering can feel the effect of littering on distant communities? Like, how can the community in Lambasa town feel what's happening in Vorovoro Island? How the life or the livelihood of those in Vorovoro Island, Mali Island, are affected by the people in Lambasa CBD. How will you link it up? Because unless and until these people feel it, their conduct, their behavior may not change. First is that you go back to the drawing board and say, why are people generating so much waste which didn't used to happen? Is it that people have now more excess income? Is it that people are now living in a local microeconomic system where the entire activity is not linked? Before, at the local level, households' entire farm or household activity were linked. So any surplus generated from one activity was utilized by the production system, other activities in the production system. It is something for the think tank to think. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think there's quite a bit for the think tank to mull over, where we can really, as a nation, deal with this issue of littering and waste management and pollution control in Fiji. There is not a single person in this country who doesn't want to be part of a clean environment. There's not a single household, not a single DMU that doesn't want to be part of or have their operation in a clean environment. But the question is, how do we ensure, what do we do to ensure that others are not contributing to the negative externality of these decision-making units, DMUs, households, or the commercial sector? Ladies and gentlemen, this issue of littering is something that the ministry is well aware of from a number of years back. Year before last, we also put out a policy called the Clean Environment Policy to basically geared towards mobilizing the community and also from more so from the demand side. But I think we need to really go back and curb the behavior of our waste generators in terms of not creating supply of waste. So that is something that we will need to really think and come up with a policy and actionable items. But I also suggest that you break down these people who are producing litter in terms of age groups. And if you look at who generates litter, it is the adults. It's the business sector, the commercial sector, the industrial sector, and therefore, having noted that, how would you then put up policies and strategies so that you get them to behave your conduct in a manner which will allow us to have a clean environment in the entire country. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to implore on all of you to do a think, and then each one of you will go back and establish groups so that we can have a kind of a mass movement about taking ownership and pride about having a clean environment, clean Fiji. So with these words, I want to thank you all, and I do hope that you all will look at where did we go wrong in terms of in our production systems, that we are not able to have the national picture. Last 2 weeks we have been working very closely with the Agriculture Ministry is working very closely with the Ministry of Environment in seeing how we can utilize waste generated by the poultry farms in national interest. There is a lot of waste generated by poultry farm, and somewhere it has to go. So we're saying the Agriculture Ministry is saying to the Ministry of Environment, let's utilize this waste, turn it into agricultural compost. So, on one hand, we want to reduce the unit cost of farmers. On the other hand, imagine the amount of inorganic fertilizer, inorganic chemical fertilizer reduction that will take place if you're able to push in this waste generated by the poultry farms, which at the moment it is being thrown around willy-nilly and affecting localized communities. So here we are trying to utilize this waste generated by a particular agricultural activity to come up with a product that will not only will solve the environment issue in the sense that it won't be dumped willy-nilly in small communities, but in a bigger way we will reduce the utilization of agricultural inorganic chemical fertilizer, which is affecting people's health through consumption of produce, which is affecting our waterways, our groundwater through leaching, and which is also having an effect on biodiversity, because chemicals, residual chemicals affect our animal species and also plant species. Extreme pollution of our biodiversity through chemical fertilizer can have an effect, negative effect on the biodiversity. So we need to think outside the box, as the theme of this of this session is today, and see how we can utilize the existing framework to reduce and recycle and reuse the waste that is being generated for the greater good. So we need to look at the outcome rather than the inputs and output in the short term. Thank you. I am Naka.